Amazing. Good. We're all set up. We're ready to roll. Thank you so much to each of you for joining. Our shirs, we continue Yichud HaHibodedus. So today we're going to try, with Hashem's help, to finish Parak Gimel. We just have a small section left at the end of the Parak, and then we're going to really move in more to the toch, into the heart of the Sefer, even though we're learning a lot. And the points are very delicate, which is why that we're taking a lot of time on each of the points to really make sure that we understand them properly and go through them thoroughly, because they're nuanced and like they're gentle. You know, it needs a lot of work to really make sure that we process them and understand them in all of their depth and their magnificence. And so over here, we're going to try to push Be'ezus Hashem toward the end of the parak, and maybe we'll even start Parak Daled. Okay, so let's jump in where we were last time, right? Did we have shir? We didn't have shir last week, right? Did we have shir last week? I'm sorry. So what was last week? I don't remember anymore. But okay, so last time we did sit and learn. So if you remember, the very last thing we were talking about was the way that tefillah is actually, in a very deep way, tefillah is, hi, not at all, tefillah, thanks for joining us. So he said that tefillah, there are papers over here if you need. So he said that tefillah means that a person is not coming to Hashem to praise Hashem because Hashem needs praise, but that the way that the tefillah is set up, the way that the Lashonos and the Siddur are, the praises, the shirs, v'sishbachas, we had Howell this morning, yesterday morning, the way that it was set up is that we come to shul and we express the emotions of the privilege that we have to have a relationship with Hashem, to be a person that's reminded and that's remembering constantly there's a Hashem in the world, and we're able to use the words in the Siddur to express that gratitude. That's really what it is. So it's not like Hashem doesn't need the praise, but Hashem does yearn for a relationship, and that's what it is, right? And so those are the words that we use. That's what we said last time. If you take a look in the first paragraph, it's page Lamed Hey, the first page. So it says Dibor Amok, yeah? Dibor Amok Zeh, Hu Ama Oyres Leiv HaNoisein. It's inspiring the heart of the person, Leiv HaNoisein, or in this case Hashem, the giver, Lefarish, Kanfei Chamlasa El Mekabel, the desire to give, the desire to express compassion to the Mekabel, to the one who's receiving. And if you remember, we were speaking about this secret code, right? This language that exists where it's the child who's coming to say whatever the child is saying to the father, not because he's really interested in saying what he's saying to the father, but there's something deeper that's happening beyond the surface where the son is actually saying, wow, I really want a relationship with you. And the father knows that, and that's the primary intention of the child. In such a case, there's tremendous love that exists between them. And he says, V'yesh b'zasayid ishi, there's something very personal. Razim, there's like a secret hidden code. Between the giver and the receiver, between the two parts of the relationship, or underlying whatever words they're using to communicate with one another, there's just the essence of that relationship, which is that they want to speak to each other in the first place, right? And that what they're getting from each other is far deeper than what this one is technically giving, what this one is technically receiving. But there's a whole that's greater than the sum of the parts. There's just the feeling of love and the feeling of connectedness and dveikus, right, and this intimate connection that they have. Shemisbate, right? I'm sorry, right? Beinois lemashpia. Rak lev Yehudi v'koini yisbarach yishmuu v'yashmiu as harachash hapnimi hazeh. Only the heart of the Jew and Hashem are really understanding the depth of this secret. The feeling of gratitude that's so much greater than whatever words you can find in the Siddur to express the gratitude, but just the feeling of gratitude that's beyond words. So you have to have words, because otherwise how are you going to express it? So we express it with the words in the Siddur. But the feeling goes beyond that, way beyond that, right? None of the words are adequate to capture what we feel. It's something that's beyond. And that's what we should be feeling when we come to say Hallel, when we come to just thank Hashem. Alakol Anachnu moidem lach, for everything, like we say moidem Anachnu lach, we thank Hashem. Sha'atahu Hashem Elokeinu. Not that, well, who are we supposed to thank? So we better thank God, right? We better thank Hashem. It's more than that. Moidem Anachnu lach. You know what we're thanking you for? Sha'atahu Hashem Elokeinu, that you're our God, right? Not that we thank you because you're our God, right? We thank Hashem because He's our Hashem, because we have a relationship with Him. That's the deepest thing that we could do in terms of thanking Hashem, right? And this is really what he's expressing over here. There's a rachash pnimi. There's an inner whisper. Thanks for joining us. Right? Rachash pnimi hazeh she misbate derech milim ikarim shel shvach, that are expressed in these precious words of praise. The kavanasam apnimis kavusha b'soich hamilim. But their inner meaning is hidden, is concealed within the words themselves. Umi'ira benoisam, but is shining between the lines. And this is what we learned last time. Bekach ma'ira sahavat shetechbatz. And with this, we'll awaken the love of Hashem ad shetechbatz until it becomes practical. Otherwise, it's just a feeling that you have. But when you sit down, you have words to say, you have a tefillah, you whether it's on Shabbos, whatever it is, you have time, you take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to daven to Hashem, at home, at work, whatever it is, right? There's a vessel. The vessel is called the siddur. The vessel is called the words that we're using to daven to Hashem. But to keep in mind that it's not about the words, because God is not listening to the words. Hashem doesn't need us to use words to express our feelings. Hashem is listening to our heart. The words are a vessel to express the feelings that we feel in our leiv. And so this is bekach, like based on the pasuk in Shir HaShirim, ma'orer es ha'ahava, it awakens this feeling of love, ad shetechbatz. Right, the word techbatz is miloshen chayfetz. A chayfetz is an item, an object. Right, one of the ways of making a kinyan is nikitas chayfetz, right, or shvua really. Right, is you take a holy thing. A chayfetz is like an object. It's a practical thing that becomes a vessel for a person. Makes a shvua, let's say, and they use a chayfetz. Right, they use an actual object. They use something. Right. And so the words are a chayfetz. The words are a vessel that we use to express our feelings to Hashem. Ad shetechbatz. Mikoyach ze yavi anoisein la'achar mikein lahafkirot tzroisav u'gnazav apnimim. And after this, so then we manage to express that feeling that's beyond expression. Thanks for joining us. That's beyond expression. We send it up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem just showers us back, with every kind of chesed, every kind of kirva, a feeling of closeness, a feeling of that relationship. Lahafkirot tzroisav u'gnazav apnimim. Dafka eitzel zeh mekabel, and Hashem is sending these treasures specifically to this kind of mekabel, who's not just going through the motions of prayer, but who feels something when they daven. Shekol kach oiroi, who has awoken himself, herself, Hashem, umitach yediyah she'ein kamoisei neman v'roi lekach. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows, that this is real. This is not a person who's checking boxes, a person who's just a religious Jew. This is what was expected of us, but a person who's really interested in having a real emotional experience, a real relational experience with Hashem. Okay, that's what we learned last time. So let's carry on now in Oy Zayin. It says like this: HaHisbodedus neisenes b'Yehudi koyach lios eson be'izka shrusayim Hashem Yisbarach v'loy lihispal mishum davar ba'olam. When we get down pat what we learned these 3 chapters, and we learned a lot, even though it's not that many pages, but it's a lot, right? It's a transformative understanding of what our relationship with Hashem is, who we are, what is the dynamic in that relationship. Right, that Hashem is giving us hagdalas koima, Hashem is giving us strength and encouragement and building up our self-confidence, that when we come in front of Hashem, we should hear Him whispering to us how precious we are to Him, how thankful He is that we took time out to spend with Him, how much in addition to us getting from Hashem, He gets from us, and there's this symbiotic relationship, and so on, all the different aspects of this dynamic that we've been learning about now for months and months. So he says, when a person really comes to believe in this, and a person comes to really understand, this is what it means to be a Yid, this is what it means to be close to Hashem. So then he says, a person's relationship is eson, is strong, is powerful, thanks for joining us, is powerful, so much so that v'lo lihispal mishum davar ba'olam. Nothing could shake that relationship, nothing. Not any external appearance, a circumstance, a person feels they're being pushed away from Hashem, a person's own sins, a person fails, a person falters, a person falls short of his or her standards. Nothing gets in the way. Because a person understands already what this relationship is made out of. It's rock solid. Nothing can break it. It's absolutely unconditional forever and ever and ever. Ki arei shemea tamenes erka me'es Hashem. Because such a person, even in the worst situations, even in the situations that appear the most hopeless, the most difficult, the most challenging, if the person centers themselves in what they know to be true, the pneumius of the reality, the interiority, so that even though things look the way they do on the surface, but a person is able to identify what's the neshama, what's the deeper truth, what's the deepest truth, what is the core, the essence, that marrow, deepest core, in the essence of life. So what he hears, or what she hears, is es erkoi me'es Hashem. Is that person's essential worth and value. And that's the deepest frequency. That after you turn the dial, all the way to, because there are so many different voices that we hear in different frequencies, and we operate on so many different levels, right? Based on so many different facets of an experience. When you tune it to the lowest, but the deepest frequency, like what's actually being said at the lowest level, or the highest, let's say the highest level, but the innermost level, you're hearing your value, no matter what. That b'shvili nivra olam. Not on my best day, not on Yom Kippur, not on some high moment. On my worst day, in my worst experience. Afal pikein. B'shvili nivra ha'olam. And if I was only to come into the world and just be born somehow into this worst day, chas v'shalom, should have good days, but a person just is born into the most dark experience, the most frustrating, difficult, challenging, painful failure of an experience on every level, it would still have been worth HaKadosh Baruch Hu bringing the whole world into existence. We don't believe this. It sounds nice. It sounds like, it's very like fluffy. And this is the deepest truth of all truths. And it's the Amalek inside of us that does not want to hear it. It doesn't want to accept it. It makes us cynical. But this is what the tzaddikim are teaching us. They're not lying to us. Everything we know about God comes from the tzaddikim, and this is what they're teaching us. That at the depth of the reality, it would have been worth God creating the whole world for that experience. Even though it looks like it's a failure. I posted a shir yesterday on the YouTube about a shir also I gave here a couple of days ago, last week, Thursday, about Kislev, and that you remember in the hidden, if anybody heard it, the hidden tzaddikim, right? The tzaddikim nestarim, the 36 hidden tzaddikim, that Kislev, right? So it's still a bit energy of Rosh Chodesh, but now we're into the month already, where the first two letters of Kislev is Kaf Samach, and that means a case, like a covering over. That's the English word case. It struck me while giving the shir that the word case is literally a case. That's what it means. It covers. Right? It's a kisui. It's a cover. It comes from the word case. Case comes from kisui. Kisui, lamed vav. It's the 36 hidden tzaddikim. It's the month of hidden holiness in the dark, after the sun sets, etc. I'm not going to elaborate. You got to listen to the shir if you have a couple of minutes. But the whole thing over there is this reality, right? What it means to be a hidden tzaddik, because the word nister, like I said in the shir, can, in addition to meaning hidden, it can also mean broken, right? Like the malacha of soser on Shabbos, bona and soser. You put something together, you take it apart, right? Listor mashu is to destroy something. A stira is when two opinions challenge one another and they destroy one another because this is saying this, that's saying something else, and then it's a stira, it's a contradiction, right? So we learned that in a very, very deep sense that tzaddikim nistarim aren't just hidden tzaddikim, but they're broken people who, despite their failure and despite their lack of success, they just never ever give up. They never give up. And they keep on holding on to emunah in the darkest situations. They keep on bouncing back. They keep on believing in their value no matter what. And in that they're tzaddikim. Sheva yipol tzaddik. What's a tzaddik? It's a person who falls, become, but the main thing is they have implanted in their heart this essential bond with Hashem that is so deeply ingrained into their DNA that no matter what become, they're getting back up again and again and again and again. The 36 broken tzaddikim. And that's why they're hidden, because on the surface they don't look like big tzaddikim. But they're the greatest. Because it's not, again, about succeeding from our perspective. It's about being who Hashem needed us to be at every given moment. And even if it's a moment that, again, doesn't look on the outside so good, doesn't look like we're accomplishing, doesn't look like whatever it is, life is challenging. At that moment, you have to know it was worth the whole world being created for you in that moment. This is emunah. That takes big emunah. Amazing, amazing levels of faith. But this is what the tzaddik is saying. Once a person really comes to understand this, and to put it into practice in HaHisbodedus, so we're coming to the field, or we're coming to the forest, or we're coming to the park, and we're coming to a private room, whatever it is, we're alone, and we're speaking to Hashem. The first step, remember, we didn't even speak about what you're saying to Hashem or how to talk to Hashem, before that. What are you hearing in that space? Before you say, what do you hear? And if a person trains themselves, and again, it sometimes takes like deprogramming from all the horrible messaging that we've gotten in the name of religion. It's terrible. We have to deprogram and reprogram with the perspectives of the Baal Shem Tov, with the perspectives of Rabbi Nachman, with the perspectives of the Zohar Kadosh, of Pnimius HaTorah. It's a reprogramming for the final generation before Mashiach. We're revealing a new path, a brand new path. We train ourselves to hear good things. If you do that enough, no matter what happens to you in your life, you're okay. You're going to be okay. Going back inside, because such a person is already always hearing, no matter what, this sense of value, of worth, of validation. Like Reb Nassan writes in the Kuti Halachas, Hilchos Ribis, with regard to the essential eternal relationship that Hashem has with the Jewish nation. Moshe Rabbeinu was not fooled. Moshe Rabbeinu knew this, right? Moshe Rabbeinu is the tzaddik. He's the person that understands more than anybody else the purity, the holiness of Klal Yisrael and their preciousness to Hashem, despite any external appearances to the contrary. No matter how angry God gets, no matter how Hashem says, I'm going to destroy the nation, Moshe Rabbeinu knows better. He knows better. Not better than God. He knows God better than to fall for the appearance on the surface, because he knows this is not the deepest. He knows that the truth is deeper, 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 deeper. So he says it was so clear like the sun to Moshe Rabbeinu, V'al kain therefore kasher hisbarer al pi Torah, shebechet oiv de gilulim neschai v'Yisrael klaya chas v'shalom, when it became revealed through the Torah, because that's what it said in the actual Torah, that Hashem says if they keep doing avodas gilulim, idol worship, and the Chet Egel, a terrible thing, Hashem says, I'm going to destroy the nation. As I pal Moshe Rabbeinu es shvir saluchas. What was Moshe Rabbeinu's response? He comes down off the mountain and he breaks the Torah. Right? He shatters the luchas. So what's the depth of that? There's so many different ways of looking at it. Says Rav Nassim, you know what the depth is? Because in the Torah it says that if they do avodas gilulim, death, and that's how it goes for the level of the individual. If it's the whole nation, like Hashem said, I'm going to wipe them out. Moshe Rabbeinu says, when it comes to your relationship, Hashem, with the Jewish nation, the Torah is irrelevant. You understand how deep this is? Your relationship with Am Yisrael is beyond the Torah. And so it says in the Torah that they do something, you're going to wipe them out. Good, we'll shatter the Torah. Meaning, in relation to the relationship that you have with them, it doesn't matter what it says. I don't care which sefer you're going to show me. God's love for each and every member of Am Yisrael is deeper than this. Tshuva is deeper than this. Why is tshuva deeper than this? Because tshuva means that despite the fact that a person blemished the Torah in some sense, or their relationship with it, it means there's a fundamental layer of their bond with HaKadosh Baruch Hu that obviously goes deeper than the Torah. Rabbi Nachman says in Sichos Ran, tshuva is beyond the Torah. Kabbalistically, the Torah is rooted in the sphere of Tiferes, right? That relates to like the torso in the body, which is just a physical manifestation of the Tselem Elokim. It's lower down. And tshuva is in the head. Tshuva is in Bina. It's way higher than the Torah. That means that our relationship with Hashem fundamentally goes beyond the Torah. The Torah's holiness is dependent on Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael's holiness is not dependent on the Torah. I saw this from one of the tzaddikim. Right now it's slipping my mind. Maybe the Piasetzner Rebbe. I can't remember where I saw this. It's such a precious thing. Because everybody says, there are 600,000 letters in the Torah, And each of them correspond to one of the 600,000 root souls of the Jewish nation. And the tzaddik said, no, you have it backwards. There are 600,000 root souls in the Jewish nation. Memela, there are 600,000 letters in the Torah. Because the Torah is dependent on the Jewish nation, not the other way around. We are the most fundamental. Our relationship with Hashem is fundamental. Hashem gave us a Torah to allow us to express that fundamental relationship and to deepen it in our hearts and souls through our commitment, through our mesiras nefesh, through our real striving to get closer through the interface of the Torah, to manifest that relationship, to be a person it's clear, you look at this person, they're shining with their kesher to Hashem through halacha and so on, and striving and pushing ourselves and growing and becoming more refined and more holy and more, whatever it is, modest, and everything is unbelievable. Right? That's why there's a Torah, but not, it doesn't, understand? We're not dependent on it, it's dependent on us. A radical thing. Moshe Rabbeinu comes down from our Sinai and he breaks the luchas. But Amrei, as if to say, Hari emes la'amita, oh, it's true. That on the one hand you want to destroy the nation, and that's real. But emes la'amita, but if you want to know the truest truth, shemachshavtam shal Yisrael kadma la'olam, that your thought of and your love for and your desire to bring into reality this nation came before the world. It came before the world. It's not that there was a world and now God had to populate it. He created the Jewish nation and the nations of the world. God created the world bereishis, like Rashi says, bishvil reishis, for the sake of that which is called reishis, for the sake of Am Yisrael, for the sake of you and me. We don't realize this. Me and you today, and not just me and you, but either one of us. You understand? Even if there was nothing else, just for you, you don't understand. We don't understand this properly. If we really believed this, but it takes work. It takes real work, because the world is screaming to us otherwise. Every Instagram thing you see, somebody has a more interesting life, more successful, whatever it is. It's negative messaging, negative, the whole day negative. We have to detox. We have to retrain ourselves to really understand our essential value, what real value means. Came before the world. And that's why tshuva also comes before the world, right? Another chazal, tshuva kadma la'olam, because it's the same thing. Am Yisrael are rooted in the world of tshuva, in the world of bina. Tshuva means to return, not just to Hashem, but to who you really are. Right? Tshuva is tapping back in to your essential holiness. That's what tshuva really is. And that's beyond the world. That's beyond anything. V'lo yamir Hashem, and Hashem will not swap us out. V'lo yachlif eskulas la'olam, will never ever trade us in for anything. V'imgila Hashem Yisbarach v'tzoyna leimar heref mimena b'ashmidem. If a Kadosh Baruch Hu seemed to reveal on the surface, he tells Moshe Rabbeinu, stand back and I'm going to destroy this nation. Azai kiviyachal amar Moshe HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, Rebbeinu Shalom, it's cute. I know it sounds wild to read these words. It's unbelievable. He says, Rebbeinu Shalom, eini mispal. Like, I'm not, okay, so you're a bit angry. He says, good, I'm not shaken by this. Ve'eni nishbar midvarech eila. I'm not broken by these words. Ki ata haresa li emes acheres. Because you already revealed to me a deeper reality, shebacharta isanu, that you chose us. Incredible words, because you look at some of the most ferocious, expressions of divine anger, and so we already dealt with that in a previous year, how Adarabah, it just shows how deeply Hashem loves us. He feels very deeply about everything. But this is something else. Moshe Rabbeinu says, it's like, on the surface it says one thing, but I know what's deeper. I know the deeper reality. V'zeh koyach shel karayv. This is the power of true closeness between two humans. This is real closeness. Shaloi lasur min akirva. That you never distance yourself from the closeness with that person. Af b'shah shel richuk naira. Even in a moment of tremendous distancing. True closeness, which I call in the story of our lives, the level of marriage, right? And then the level of engagement, which is like the soul of marriage, right? Before a person's actually married, spending time with the person. But the engagement period, where it's just heavenly. They're not living together. They're not, it's all mamish fun and games, but it's so deep because it's like heaven. It's like you don't have to deal with this worldly stuff. It's just go out and have fun and eat a lot of sushi and sit in hotel lobbies and do other things. Just talk and talk and talk. So on the one hand, it's not real. No, it's so real. It's just not real on the level of Olam Hazeh, but it's real on the level of Olam Haba. That's where the real relationship is. That's where the real relationship is built. And then so I write in the book, a lot of people that get married and then they stop being engaged. Chas v'shalom. People think, once you're married, so then you're not engaged anymore. No, you stay. I mean, even the English word engaged means like stay engaged, right? Stay engaged. We have this with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If a person is, quote unquote, we're using these terms married, engaged, it's just a mashal, whatever relationship a person has with anyone, then even if on the level of marriage it's difficult, but there's a moment within the distancing where a person knows that the connection between these two people runs deeper than whatever's going on the surface. It runs deeper than whatever's going on the surface. That even in a moment of richuk noira, an awesome, awesome experience of distance, see, he says, Loi lasser min hakirva. The kirva, the love, is not removed. But amrli yedid nafshai, the ability to express, like mamish, in the moment of an argument. You just stop, you take a step out, and you center. And you say, okay, this is what's going on. And there's strong feelings here. I'm feeling strongly about it. You're feeling strongly about it. I recognize that you're feeling strongly about this. I'm also a person, I have feelings, and you're a person and you have feelings. And not always is there an easy way to resolve things. This is difficult. This is we're humans. Halavai, we should be able to snap a finger and everything. But something, can we just press pause on this fight for a minute and just take a step out and go to a deeper place? To really be able to say that, but amrei did nafshay, to say to a good friend, sheha emes shal yidida seinu, the truth of our relationship, nitzches yoyser min harichuk hamasrachish achshav beinenu, is more eternal and is more real and is more fundamental than this little fight that we're in right now. The lot of the fight will come and go. The relationship is forever. So can we love each other even in the middle of the fight? Mamish, this is what he's saying. And he's not just saying it as an idea. Imagine if we could be expressive in our relationships and work on our relationships to get to a level of depth where this is even possible. Or like it's something that's like even theoretically possible, because otherwise you'll just sound like you're like, what are you even talking about? But once you've cultivated with another person this layer of the relationship, and they understand that your relationship with them has nothing to do with Olam Hazeh, two good friends, it's clear to each other, even before we're talking about marriage, just friends, that these souls are connected in such a deep way, but a real friend, not just it has nothing to do with the transactional, whatever layer of the external relationship, a real soul bond. So that's deeper than whatever's going on the surface. If that layer of the relationship has been cultivated, then even in a moment of what's it called? It doesn't reach a fundamental point. It reaches where it reaches, but there's always a deeper core that you can activate even in the moment of distance. And that's something very wonderful, very, very wonderful indeed. But Amrli Yedid Nafsho, I read these words again, so powerful, to say to the other person in the relationship, let's just clarify in this moment, Shaha Emes Shal Yedidai Seinu, the truth of our relationship, Nitzches Yoser Min Harichuk, Hamasrachish Achshav Beinenu, is more eternal than whatever is going on right now, and this richuk, this experience of distancing between us. V'zeh bris, this is the secret of a covenant, which is a kirva l'mala me'seichel. It's something that goes beyond. You just have a covenant with the person. You just have a covenant, but not just a covenant, a bris oilam. You make a soul pact with the other person. It's forever. Meirosh, it's forever. In the moment, it's forever, forever, forever. Ve'irastich li la'olam, right? To be engaged, doesn't say married forever. Engaged forever. Engaged forever. Kesher etzem. It's a soul bond. It's a real essential bond. She'ein by kira v'richok ve'ein anitan lepirud. that there's no concept of closeness or distance. It's forever. And nothing can touch that. Nothing can touch that. This is how relationships survive. This is a bris. It's a kirva l'malami seichel. It's a bond that goes beyond our seichel. Kesher atzum. It's an essential bond. It can never ever be removed. So with this, you can overcome the period of distancing. You have a descent, you have a yerida, you have an off day, you're feeling numb, you're feeling angry, you're feeling confused. All these things are normal. But your relationship with Hashem goes deeper than your doubt. Your relationship with Hashem goes deeper than you. It's your neshama. It's crazy even on this level to talk about your relationship with Hashem. At that point, you're one. It is you. You are Him. You are an expression of His light. There's no relationship. It's mamish you. Nothing can get in the way of that. You're alive. You're connected to Hashem. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu thanks Moshe Rabbeinu, and he says to him, right at the end of the Torah, it's the last pasuk in Rashi there, Yasher koichacha sheshibarti. He says, thank you so much that you broke the luchas, because you revealed this reality to the world. That my love for Am Yisrael goes deeper than the Torah. A person's keeping the Torah, it's absolutely tremendous and wonderful. A person struggling to keep the Torah, from this standpoint, doesn't matter. Hashem's love goes deeper than that. Once a person knows that, so then you don't think that they're going to want to keep the Torah. What a person sufficing with this, that like, okay, no, a person who has a real deep relationship with someone doesn't suffice with this knowledge and then they live on a surface level of richuk their whole lives. A person wants to feel karev. A person wants to be close to Hashem. A person wants to work on things, take stock of their life, say, okay, what are the halachas about this, that, and the other? And it's difficult for me. Okay, I'll push myself because the relationship is worth it, etc. Right? You see, it's a lot of people are under the impression that first we need to bring people close to Torah, and then we'll tell them that they're loved by Hashem. And the Baal Shem Tov said the opposite. First you tell people how much Hashem adores them, how much Hashem is waiting for them, how much Hashem cares about them, and then you'll see that from this they want to come close. It's not sur meirah first, right? Stay away from bad, and then aseh tov, and then you can open up to Hashem's light. The Baal Shem Tov interpreted that pasuk. You know how you're going to be sur meirah? Through aseh tov. Through coming to understand your closeness to Hashem, your value, your worth, the way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is constantly whispering to you how important you are, how worthy you are, how worthy you are, how worthy we are. So Hashem says, good, Yasher koichacha shishibarta. Wow, you taught Am Yisrael such a great lesson that in 2024 they'll be sitting here in London learning about this. That we would never know unless Moshe Rabbeinu takes the actual luchas, God's writing, so to speak, that God created, and shatters it. Because in relation to Hashem's bond with the Jewish nation, it's irrelevant. B'shas HaHisbodedus misgala emes hapnimis, and the time for us to bask in this awareness is during HaHisbodedus. In the same way, for example, that the time for a husband and wife, right, to bask in the essence of their closeness is in those special moments, which are lamala mina ha'olam, which those moments where you can steal 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. A person date night, a person goes out to eat, a person whatever it is, where you're not with the noise of quote unquote marriage, and the stuff to do, but you're really battling your marriage to take out time. Take out time that you're nurturing, you're watering this precious flower of the essence of your relationship with one another. That goes far beyond the technicalities of having to, you live in the same house and, who are we going to for Yontiv, our in-laws, your in-laws, what are the travel dates, whatever it is, the practicalities of whatever it is that husband and wife have to deal with. But what about the relationship? That's so important to nurture. If we nurture that, you find it much easier in times which inevitably arise of sichsuch, of difficulty, of challenge. But there's a bond that goes deeper than that. And so, in terms of our relationship with Hashem, the time for that is HaHisbodedus. Misgala ha'emes ha'pnimis, in those moments is being revealed the deeper truth. Hashem is baruch meir liyehudi es oitzim kirvasai. Hashem is shining into the heart and soul of the Jew this essence, this essential closeness, etzem, oitzem, right? The etzem and the otzem, the power, the intensity of his love for us. Ad kedei kach, to such a degree, sheyachal Yehudi le'achez begilui zeh, gam b'yosei margish richuk hamiti. So that even though you'll come out from that experience, and Hashem will just as easily be in your life and mamish like leave, meaning you're going to feel distance, but you don't fall apart. You don't fall apart. You know, mamish had that. Just share a little bit. This Sunday morning, we did a musical Hallel here. I'm not sure if anybody was here. We did a musical Hallel, and it was beautiful. And I really wanted to do a good thing. I really did want to do a good thing. My intention is, and I'm davening all the time, people should feel closer to Hashem, you know, because of my humble efforts. Like, that's my only intention. I came early, I set up. I thought it would be nice for my kids to come also. Hashem should bless both of them. They're the sweetest, and all of them, the best. And I brought them. And I came and I set up the whole thing, and I had the best of intentions, and I thought it was going to be so beautiful. And in the beginning was real kirva. It was wonderful. And then I popped one string. No, okay, could still sort of manage. It's not so easy, but you could still continue to play a little bit with one string. And then my kids are just climbing on top of each other, like mamish, like it was totally out of control. I was sitting here, and I'm trying to lead the Hallel for like however many, 50, 60 people, whatever it was, who were here. And my kids are usually well behaved. This was like above and beyond. Like, what am I supposed to do with myself? What do you actually want from me? Right? That's a moment of richuk. That's a moment that was very, very, very frustrated. And not only that, but because the behavior was so out of control, and again, they're the best. They're the best. They're going to hear this in 30 years. They're going to say, "Whoa, you're the best. You're the best. You're the best." You know, I had to mamish leave davening in the middle of my own Hallel, the event. I had to miss Musaf and take them home in the middle of davening. And I'll tell you the truth, it was a dark moment. It was a dark moment. Like, what the heck is that? Like, I mamish with the best of intentions. I come and I plan this out, and I want to do a good thing and help out my wife and do something sweet for the kids. And the whole thing was like, I've rarely felt as stressed out than that moment. Oh, because I forgot to tell you that a second string popped closer to the end of the house. So I'm literally playing with 3 strings, 4 strings out of 6, whatever it is. My kids are on the floor in front of everybody. I'm trying to lead the Hallel. Can't really parent at the same time. And at the same time, I'm supposed to have like Havana and sing, while my voice also, I'm having major issues with my voice these days. I don't know what's going on. And I can't even sing, It was dark. And I had to dig very deeply into this. Ooh, did I have to dig into this? Because the richuk was intense. The frustration was intense. Hashem, ani abducha b'namasecha. I'm trying to do something for you. It's not for me. And kacha, like, why? So on the surface, it's a terrible thing. But in the ma'amak in pnimiyim, because Baruch Hashem, I at least a little bit, I tried to practice just a teeny tipa min hayam of what I preach, a little bit, and I absorbed these teachings over a decade plus, and I've just been feeling my neshama with this, and even that it's not enough, obviously, or else I wouldn't even felt frustrated in the moment, but I did, I admit to that. I was able to, it took some time, but I was able to get back in touch with the reality that no. Like Rabbi Nachman teaches, Kol ha'hisrachkus hu rak kulei eskarva. This that you feel pushed away is itself Hashem bringing you close. This is the good stuff. I can't give a shiurim about it and not, try at least to feel it. This is the good stuff. This is life. This is the birur, I reminded myself. This is the clarification. Why are you upset? You're upset because you had it's the same thing we speak about, because you had some dream for yourself. You wanted to have a successful Hallel. If it was really for Hashem, so this is what God did. So what are you getting upset about? What are you getting upset about? This that you're so upset means that it was about you and not about Him. And this is what I was reminding myself. I'm working on this. And Baruch Hashem, the storm passed and the kirva came back. Because Baruch Hashem, it's rooted in a deeper place than a little bit turbulence on the surface. It's okay. Turbulence is okay. But it means the plane is flying. If it's a bumpy ride, you're traveling somewhere. You're traveling. That's what it means. It means you're traveling. That's life. And it was an opportunity for me to take the Musar and Adarabah. In that moment, no, I gave it up to Hashem. I said, Rebbeinu Shalom, this was for you. And so if this is how you wanted it, in my opinion, it could have been much better, but it's up to you. That's up to you. This is what you needed. And you carry on. Because it's all a curriculum. All of life is a curriculum. It's all Hashem. It's all Hashem. Hashem is distant. Hashem is present in that distance. Right? It's an experience of distance. It's not fundamental distance. The Ishbitzer just finished with this. On this week's Parsha, the Ishbitzer Tzadikim, it's like a bit of a hobble together of different teachings from the Me'ashiloch, the Beis Yaakov, different Ishbitzer Tzadikim. Say on the pasuk that Yaakov Avinu has this incredible dream, Sula Mutzav Artza. I've said this also before in Shiur. Meroisha Megia Shemaim, the ladder is implanted on the ground, and the top of the ladder is reaching heaven. Umalach Elikim Oilim Yardim, and the angels of God are going up and down the ladder. V'hinei Hashem Nitzav Alav, and God is firmly established there. Right? Nitzav is like from the word matseva, right? Where like a headstone means you want to mark this place forever. That generations and generations of people will come afterwards and know where a certain person is buried. A matseva, nitzav, doesn't just mean a thing is there. It means it's there, mamish there. Say the tzaddikim. Yaakov Avinu has a dream. B'nei malach elikim, angels are like tzaddikim, righteous people. Dava'amich kulam tzaddikim. It was speaking about Yaakov Avinu. It was speaking about the Shvatim. It was speaking about every member of the Jewish nation who would ever live, the B'nei Yaakov, the B'nei Yisrael. That from our experience, Oilim V'Yardim, from our experience it will look as if we're sometimes getting closer to Hashem, sometimes getting further from Hashem, and that's our perception, that's our reality. But from Hashem's perspective, V'hinei Hashem Nitzav Alav. It doesn't matter how much you think you're being oile, rising, or how much you think you're being yored. To Hashem, it's all the same. Not because there's no difference between an experience of closeness with Hashem or distance from Hashem, but that the distance is itself an experience of Hashem, showing you that He's distant. For whatever reason it is, like I just gave an example, but whatever reason it is, whether it's a tikkun, whether it's a kapara, whether it's whatever it is, kol ma da avid rachmana l'tav of it. It's easy to say, and then until the thing that they were teaching you to say it about, and then that happens, and you say whatever God does is for the good, but not this. No, that's this mamish this, and we have to remind ourselves of that. Hashem is nitzav alav. That's the relationship that's forever. So B'shas HaHisbodedus, going back inside, let's finish the chapter. B'shas HaHisbodedus, in these moments, Mizgala Emes HaPnimis, is being revealed this deeper truth. Hashem Yisbarach Meir LiYehudi Oitzim Kirvasai. Hashem is shining into our hearts and souls. This Etzem Kirvasai, the Oitzim, the power of this. Ad Kedei Kach, to the extent, again, so that when you walk out of HaHisbodedus, you're supercharged for the day. It's like you got plugged into an outlet and you're charged the rest of the day, no matter what happens to you. Even after you experience a real, like a challenge, a difficulty, like a spat with God, so to speak. But you are now trained with the moichin, with the consciousness of Moshe Rabbeinu, to say to Hashem, She'enoi mispa'el, ve'ena nishbar mikol richok. I'm not bewildered by this. I'm not knocked off course. I'm not scared. I'm not broken. V'shav el akiruv. No, I could come close to Hashem. Al afakol, no matter what. That's what HaHisbodedus is supposed to be. It's like date night in a way. It's like you're taking a few moments out of the rest of the facets of our relationship with Hashem, of which there are many. Hashem is our Melech. Hashem is our Father. Hashem is our God. Hashem is a judge. Hashem is all these different things are true. But what HaHisbodedus is a moment where we're nurturing the essence of the relationship. That place of pnimius, where you can shatter the luchas a million times. It doesn't matter. Hashem is forever embracing the essential core of the collective Jewish heart. Alaf HaKol, no matter what happens to you in your day, We begin with HaHisbodedus, you nurtured that. It's so clear to you. And then there are going to be challenges, and we have to battle with our midas and our humanity and grapple with things. But you understand you're anchored in a place of essentiality. So it'll it's like the boat will go as far to the left or as far to the right as the storm will carry it. But there's an anchor. So it's anchored in a place where it won't go too far off course. It cannot go too far off course because it's rooted in the course. We'll finish up with Kafidi Isa B'Lekuta Moran, like Rabbi Nachman says, based on the Gemara Pesachim, Kuf Yud Tes and Aleph, which itself is commenting on a pasuk in Tehillim Shir Mizmar Lam Natseach Mizmar LeDavid Lam Natseach. What does it mean, Lam Natseach? If you look in the art scroll, it means to the conductor. I don't know, that's how they translate it, Lam Natseach. But says the Gemara Pesachim, you know what it means? Shir Mizmar Lam Natseach. David HaMelech is singing a song La Minatseach, to the Minatseach. What's that? Zamru, sing L'misha Menatzchen Oisai V'sameach. Sing to Hashem, who, when you conquer him, like Menatseach, to be victorious, a victor. Shemenatzchen Oisai, you beat Hashem, so to speak, at this game. You beat him. That you're the one that emerges victorious. That he's trying to push you away, but it's all on the surface. Chapter 3 in the story of our lives, Ayin Sham. It's all a game. Hashem shuts the door and he says, may the no good one take you, he says to the lost princess, and she makes the mistake of thinking he actually means that, and she runs away, right? And she makes the mistake, but we stay there, and we are victorious. L'misha menatzchen oisai, to Hashem, who when we are victorious over him, v'sameach, he's happy about that. Hashem is happy when, like he says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Yasher koichach sheshibarta. He says, thank you for breaking the Torah. Thank you. That the only reason I was angry in the first place, or showed that I was angry, was to elicit this reality, this realization. That's the only reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu even does this in the first place, is to give us the opportunity to say, Afal Pikein, Afal Pikein, Afal Pikein. Rabbi Nachman was once sitting with somebody who came to him, and the person was telling him all his terrible averis, and the person was telling him all how far he is from Hashem, how much he struggles, and life is so challenging, and no matter what, he can't find a way to succeed and move forward. And you know what Rabbi Nachman did? Rabbi Nachman looked him in the eyes, and he said, you're right. I guess there really is no hope for you. I guess you're right. And when he said this, the person says, Rebbe, I know that I'm struggling, and I know that it hasn't been easy, but no, I really could. I think I really could. Rebbe, don't say that. Don't say there's no hope for me. And Rabbi Nachman says, that's what I wanted you to say. That's what I wanted you to realize. Sometimes Hashem is telling you, okay, there's no hope for you. Why? Because he wants you to turn around and run to your room, like the princess, if you see the book, chapter 3 of the story of our lives, where the princess makes this mistake and runs to her room because the king gets angry at her. No, that was her mistake. The king doesn't get angry, so you should run away. The king gets angry so that it will elicit within you the clarity that, well, the king actually doesn't want me to run away. The king wants me to stand by the door that he just slammed in my face and knock and knock and knock and say, I don't care. I'm not going anywhere because I need this relationship. I cannot survive without this relationship because this relationship is me. I am this relationship. Without this relationship, ani lo klum. I'm nothing, because I'm not a human being with a body and a childhood and an adolescence and a personal ambition of some kind, whatever it is, and dreams and hopes and my life circumstances. I am an neshama that can't survive for 1 second without being connected to its source. So it doesn't matter how many times you'll throw me away from you. I will keep coming back. Rabbi Nachman says in Sichas Ran, I believe it's Sichas Zayin, could be mistaken, toward the beginning, where the Rebbe says over there, that if a person is feeling distant from Hashem, you say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't care how many times you'll throw me away from you. You already said in the Gemara, Ben kachu, ben kach banayhem. You already said, no matter what, they're my children. You want to throw me out of the house? Rabbi Nachman says this. That's up to you. That's your business. But I will continue to act like your child. So powerful. That's Rabbi Nachman's Gilui. Ein shum yish ba'olam klal. On that level, there is no despair in the world at all. There's no despair. Because even when Hashem tells you give up, it's just for the purpose of eliciting hope. There is no despair in the world at all. That's the Gilui of Rabbi Nachman. That's rooted in this fundamental revelation of the essence of our Kirvat HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ki k'shemadaber lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when a person speaks in front of Hashem, and a person's pouring out their heart and their soul before Hashem, it's like you're conquering Hashem and saying, Hashem, I know that you have every reason in the world not to be there for me. You have every reason in the world to cast me away. But I know that our relationship runs deeper than that. And this brings out the deepest love, the deepest pleasure in the relationship, because this is what a relationship really means, right? This is bringing out the essence of the relationship. And you'll see, if you're rooted in the das and the consciousness of the tzaddikim, which we've been learning in this sefer and all the other shiurim, everything that we're trying to teach, Be'ezus Hashem, is rooted in this reality. You'll find Hashem will give you words to express this, and you'll talk your way out of every mess, because you'll be able to go beyond the surface, and that will give Hashem so much pleasure when you conquer Him, when you're victorious, when you break the luchas. Hashem will say, "Good, now you understand." Now you understand that the anger was only on the surface for the purpose of allowing you to dig even deeper, to say, no, there still is hope for me, because our relationship is deeper than whatever anger you're showing on the surface, and I know that it's all a mischak echad gadol, it's a game, and I'm not fooled by it. I'm not fooled by it. Without HaKadosh Baruch Hu sending you the words, it would be impossible for you to conquer Him. God will open your heart, words will come down into your mind, into your heart, that you will be shocked how poetic and how beautiful and how deep these words are. Hashem will gift you these words. To use the words, to come back to Hashem. The tainus to conquer Him. Okay, now this is the end of chapter 3, Parak Gimel. Unbelievable journey we've had so far. I think this is the 19th shiur, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 19 hours, right, just on this Inyan. Incredible. Most people never go their whole life thinking really about the relationship with Hashem. They never, and they just run, sort of scamper off into serving God without thinking of what God is and what the essence of the relationship is. What a privilege that we have to learn these teachings. So he finishes with just words from Reb Nosson in Likutei Tfilos, which I couldn't recommend highly enough. It's translated as the 50th gate, where he took every teaching of Likutei Maran and he turned it into a prayer. So it's a whole book, original Tfilos. It's like what David HaMelech did to the Torah, right? Because there are 5 books of Tehillim, connected the 5 books of the Torah. Reb Nosson did for Likutei Maran. He turned each thing into a Tfilah. He says, Ribono Shel Olam, Master of heaven and earth. We'll just finish with this. You know, I have no energy anymore. I have no strength. I have no hope. And words to ledaber lefanecha. The only way is through this holy, exalted, lofty path. Shegila Razal b'pasuk, that our teachers, Rabbi Nachman, revealed on the verse Azamar lelekai ba'oidi. I will sing to Hashem. Rabbi Nachman says over there, ba'oidi. It's one of his most famous lessons, 282, the Torah of Azamra, with oidi. What's oidi? Oid means a little bit more. Od. Right? Tov is good. Tov ma'od, extra. There's a little bit more to you than what appears on the surface. Oidi, I have a little bit more to me. And that I can use to sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That a person needs to seek and to discover and to find within themselves points of goodness. And with that, to be machaya myself. That I'm still here, and that I'm still thinking about Hashem, even if I'm so sad that I feel so distant from Him. I'm still alive, I'm still feeling, I'm still in the ring, that I still realize how much you love Am Yisrael, how much you glorify them, how much they're beloved to you in their exile, in their lowliness. And through that, there's hope for every Jew. For that, there's hope for every single person. And if we apply this dynamic, I'm saying just, that's the core of it, and that's the most important relationship you'll ever have, right? But if we can apply this dynamic in terms of our interpersonal relationships, whether it's friends, whether it's in our marriages, and we work on this, whether it's parents and children, so you'll see there's a resilience in that relationship. It goes deeper, but it's only as deep as the awareness that we cultivate, and we can only cultivate it if we know about it. And if we know about it, then we speak about it, and we can bring this out, and it becomes a reality. And at that point, we can weather many storms, many storms. Okay, Chazi Hashem. I'm so happy that we finished Parak Gimel. Next week we'll continue with Parak Daled, which speaks very much about Cheshbon HaNefesh. So this is all the lovey-dovey stuff, and then we're going to get into, how do you use HaHisbodedus to actually take a look, how do we understand that aspect, which is like Yira Shemayim, working on ourselves, trying to rectify. We said we get there, and that will begin Be'ezras Hashem next week with Hashem's help. Okay, thank you. שכל כך אוהב אותי, האב שלי, מלך חי וקיים, על כל נשימה שאני נושם.